Hi folks, the Watch underscore here from the future to give you a heads up about two major issues with this episode. First off, KirbyFan's audio quality is going to be wildly inconsistent because her mic wasn't connected to Audacity, but it was connected to a Discord chat and I happen to have a backup recording of that, so I ended up switching back and forth. Second, we scheduled this recording way too tightly and our friend Random had to leave about an hour into our discussion, but you can barely tell. Just kidding, Random. We hope you still enjoy this episode, and we hope you stick around for part 2 where KirbyFan goes even further into the film solo. But for now, cue the music, me in the edit room.
Welcome to the Pixarspective, everybody.
We're KirbyFan, Random Bystander here, and the Wash underscore discuss Pixar films in order of release.
And yes, today we have something pretty amazing right next. So,
yeah, Cars.
Yeah, let's drive past that movie for now and focus on Incredibles.
No, we gotta go backwards like Mater.
That's a winner of a joke.
Only Cars fans will get this reference. So today we're talking about The Incredible.
Yes, we're
talking about...
Are you sure? Yes. So, this is 2004.
Yes.
This is the 6th film in the Pixar library.
6 movies,
God.
yikes.
Yes.
Hit after hit after hit from these guys.
Yeah, and the hits still keep coming.
We're making a lot of progress.
Yeah.
And so is Pixar at this point. So I guess this is the point where we start talking about like what our memories with this. And given that this is The Incredibles,
for once, I am absolutely 100% going to bite the bullet. I am going to go first.
Ooh.
Oh, you're gonna go first. Okay.
I'm gonna go first. This is important.
We are recording this on April Fool's Day, so I had this whole speech prepared about how much I hated the movie. But
you watched it again.
If you don't know me, you probably know from the last episode. But especially if you know me, this is not only my favorite Pixar film of all time. This is my favorite film of all time. Going into this, I was super excited, but believe it or not, my history with the film is pretty minimal. I saw it when it came out, and I loved it. And then I didn't see it for years, and then I saw it a bunch of times with Random and Wash.
Yep.
And this is actually my first time seeing the movie by myself since the first time I saw it.
Ooh.
Wow.
And to say I like it a lot more than I used to would be an understatement, and it was already my favorite film.
You liked it a lot more now that we stopped like screaming over it.
Yeah.
I could just appreciate everything and have to worry about my friends.
And you can watch it. You can watch an hour and a half movie for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it took me 2.5 hours to get through the movie because I was just so busy note-taking, laughing, thinking about how great it was,
grabbing screenshots.
Just Cap. I took so many screenshots. So needless to say, I'm gonna have a very runny mouth today.
I have 5 pages worth of notes.
Holy shit. Censor that.
How many words is this? Hold on. One of you start. I'm going to see how many words of notes I have saved.
I'll go. Unless you want to go. Okay, I'll go.
Oh my god. I have about 1,800 words worth of notes.
1,000 words.
1,800.
Hold on.
Sorry.
But this is... Because that's the thing. Like notes are usually like my notes are usually like a short phrase or a quote, and you have 1,000 words of that.
It's closer to 2,000. I hope you know.
You could write a paper about The Incredibles. I'm surprised if you haven't already.
I did. I did.
Good.
Oh, did
Because
you?
I've written a paper
I feel
about,
like that's something you can talk about with your experience with the film.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot until now. Most of the papers that I write are about gaming and cartoons, not movies. But anyways, enough about me. Who was gonna go next?
Me.
Okay, you're up, Rando.
I don't think I saw this movie in theaters, and I don't remember seeing it until watching it with you guys. So I'm pretty sure I did. Maybe it was just on cable, or maybe my mom brought it, or no, I actually rented it on like Hollywood Videos. Yeah, back in the 2000s.
I remember the first time we attempted a rankings list, you put it really low.
Yeah, because I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of superhero movies at the time. It was just like, oh, it's a superhero movie. I'm not gonna like it.
That's really hilarious, considering you're the only person.
I'm a big Marvel fan now.
Yeah.
I still need to see Captain Marvel though, but that's besides the point.
The number of Marvel films I've seen, I can count on one hand.
Meanwhile, I've seen almost all of them.
And you were the guy that didn't like superhero movies.
I know.
And meanwhile, I never liked superhero movies.
But I remember watching Incredibles very recent, like before this, and I was like, you know what, this is pretty good. It's like there's a lot of, it's not just a superhero movie. It's a good family movie. The plot's really good and stuff. And it was ranked higher, obviously. And then it's really interesting watching this again, especially after seeing Incredibles 2.
Yes.
But that's a whole other discussion.
I try not to bring up the sequels when we talk about this, and I'm probably not going to bring up Incredibles 2, but I was thinking a lot about it while watching this movie.
Yeah.
Especially the ending.
Yeah.
The Underminer!
We'll get to him and his classy voice actor.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
I swear I've heard him before. I really like The Incredibles. I wouldn't call it my favorite movie. I don't think I would even call it my favorite Pixar movie. We'll get to that. I mean, I still like Incredibles, but it's not my favorite, but it's still one of the best. But we'll get into more discussion with that later.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The wash.
This is the first time I've watched it.
Yeah, I know. I keep telling you to watch it. You finally had to watch it.
Yeah.
Every time I told you to watch it, you said the same thing. I'm not going to like Lightning McQueen. I'm not going to like Lightning McQueen.
No. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like... Yeah. Anyway, so let's go off with the... Okay. It feels kind of stupid to walk back, but I kind of have to because of the format. So my experience is I don't recall watching this in the theaters, but I swear I want to say I saw a DVD copy of this film at a CVS. Yeah, I definitely remember like really, really enjoying this when I started watching it and getting really super into it.
And then you met me.
Yeah, and then I met you two. And okay, here's something I can add about my experience with it. The moment I pressed play, my brain did this thing where it said, "Remember that Nickelodeon show, The X's?"
I actually don't.
I don't either.
Okay, it was a Nicktoons show. It came out in 2005. It lasted one season. It was about a family of spies. A father, mother, teenage daughter, younger brother, that are a family that is trying to fit in as spies, and they have the same, and they use like a 70s style that is very reminiscent of like the end credits of The Incredibles. And when this came out, everybody was comparing it to The Incredibles, and then it disappeared, and nobody talks about it anymore, except me on this podcast for Pixar.
The first time you've brought it up since it got canceled.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. But yeah, that was kind of a shocker to suddenly recall that. So first off, who will do the synopsis?
I think Kirby fan.
We literally promised this like last episode that you were going to do the synopsis.
Oh, did I? Did we?
Yeah.
I didn't know we promised it, but I was going to do it anyway.
I wasn't going to stop you. You should have just automatically
I should have just said, in a world where superheroes are superheroes.
The Incredibles is a movie that takes place in a universe where superheroes exist. They live among people, and they have their secret identities, just like your average superheroes, and they do superhero work. And the superheroes typically enjoy what they do, but there comes a point where people start to wonder if they even need superheroes. Someone who attempts to commit suicide sues the superhero that saved him because he didn't want to be saved. To quote the movie, "You didn't save my life, you ruined my death." Jesus. And things get to a big tension point, to the point where superheroes, by law, are demanded to just be normal members of society, to be in hiding. One superhero, Mr. Incredible, or as we know him, Bob Parr, is very not satisfied with this. He goes behind his family's back to do superhero work undercover with best side character ever, Frozone. At some point, Bob is contacted by a mysterious woman named Mirage saying that she has superhero work for him. So he goes undercover to an island in order to do the superhero work, and he's getting paid much more than he was getting paid at his other job, which he just got fired from for punching his boss, who is Rex, by the way, and it's so funny. But anyway.
Not punch, throw.
Throw. You are correct.
Choke and throw, honestly.
Yeah, choked him, hurled him, said, uh-oh.
So now he has this undercover job, but maybe, just maybe, not all is as good as it seems. And that is a basic plot synopsis for a lot of The Incredibles.
Yes.
Also, there's a lot of action, and it's very exciting.
Oh, a lot.
Very well choreographed. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Well, yeah. And of course, it's like, it is Bob's story, but it is also a story about a family.
Yes, it is not only Bob's story.
A family picture.
Ironically, this is probably the one least suited for the entire family out of pretty much their entire library. Pixar's, I mean.
Well, yeah. At this point, this has been this would be the least appropriate, yeah. And I'm gonna say this right off the bat since we're bringing this up. So the year is 1999.
Ooh.
Brad Bird just came out with this film, Iron Giant.
Yes.
Yes, great movie.
Great movie.
Fantastic film. And
did we watch it together at one point?
Yes, we did.
Okay, good.
We did. Warner Brothers Animation totally dropped the ball in terms of marketing, screwed up so badly, and it was only when the reviews came out that they were like, "Oh fuck, what have we done?" But they lost a lot of money, and they didn't think that animation was worth it, especially 2D animation. Brad Bird wanted to make a superhero movie, and as he was getting older, he wanted to make a superhero film about family. He was going to make it as a 2D cell animation, but that didn't work out, so he sent it over to Pixar, and he pitched it to Pixar, and they said, yes, let's go with it. He brought in a whole bunch of his crew from The Iron Giant, some of whom still work at Pixar, I do believe. He was talking with his animation supervisor, Tony Fusil, however you pronounce that, and they were talking about trying to get into CGI because they've been used to 2D animation and cell animation, and they said, okay, let's talk about what we really like about Pixar, and then let's talk about what we wish Pixar films could do. And so this whole film, I got to appreciate this a whole lot more once I consider that this film is essentially Brad Bird's challenge to Pixar. This was him trying to say, let's do something totally radical. Because
yes. And you can even... It's noticeable even to a
casual viewer, if they're going to watch these movies in the way that we are, it's noticeable immediately in that the humans in this movie actually look really good.
Yeah,
they do.
Absolutely. I really like how stylized the character designs are. Like
you know what I really appreciate about this? Right now, as of 2019, we live in an era where animators for all different kinds of mediums have a really hard time giving women distinct faces because it's hard or something.
Yeah.
But look at this movie that came out in 2004 was, quote unquote, I think so at least, and a lot of people agree, the first movie to pull off a lot of, the first CG movie to consistently pull off human characters and make them look normal and good and all that. And the female characters are all distinct just by looking at them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
They have unique faces, and I can't believe people are saying that it's hard.
It's so stupid. It's so
It is.
stupid when people make that dumb excuse. I'm looking at you, Disney.
Disney, absolutely. Disney, Ubisoft, yada yada.
Oh God, yeah. Well, that's for a whole different podcast. Anyway,
Yeah.
This was just a challenge in every direction. I have another quote here from one of the technical directors. The hardest thing about The Incredibles was there was no hardest thing. We've got it all: fire, water, air, smoke, steam, explosions, and by the way, humans.
That's a great quote.
Yeah, they just went for everything. The number of locations quadrupled. It went from like 50 to over 200. They were going into these wild directions. They really weren't so sure about this. Disney, in fact, was because they were having trouble with the hair simulation, especially Violet. They were like, can we please just make this live action? And Brad Bird just wouldn't goddamn have it. He was
good. He's got to be pushy with stuff like this. I'm proud of him.
He was so pissed when they were trying to explain to him like what an animated film has to have and what it can't do. And he's the guy that will shout at you if you try to say that animation is a genre.
Good.
Yeah, honest to God, good.
Yeah, there's so much more to talk about with the background of it, but let's just go straight for it. Let's just start talking about the characters, and let's start off.
They're all great. They're all great.
I don't think there's a dud among them.
I actually will be the one to say, of all people. She's not a dud, but if there is any character in this movie that I would say, all right, she could use improvements, it would be Mirage.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I was getting kind of frustrated with Mirage towards the... Fast forwarding quite a lot into the film. There's a point where Mr. Incredible grabs onto Mirage and threatens to crush her while Syndrome watches. Syndrome calls his bluff, and then right after that, Mirage is saying like, oh God, what did she say? She said,
he's not weak, you know. That scene that is really funny, actually, because there's like this long zoom in to where they are, and then she says, he's not weak, you know, and Syndrome goes, huh?
Just the context is that she brings it up out of the blue, and Syndrome has no idea what she's talking about.
Value in life is not weakness. That was what she said. And it's pretty damn late to be saying that, considering all you've been complacent to.
Exactly. She was totally okay with Mr. Incredible dying. It wasn't until children were involved that she stopped.
She's really like complacent to, I'm just gonna say it, a genocide of superheroes.
Yeah.
And Mirage that was does he have like a supers are bad? Wait, kids? Humans? is that what it is? I can only assume.
Maybe.
I mean, for what it's worth, you could make the case that she didn't really realize the value of life until her own was in jeopardy. And when she saw that Syndrome was completely willing to call his bluff and risk her life, kind of realized that, you know, oops, I messed up.
This has to be like years in the making.
Yeah. Again, like I said, she's the one, not dud, but the one that I could see easy room for improvement in. But we don't know enough about her. If we knew how she came into contact with Syndrome, maybe things would be different, but we don't know.
We also don't know, like, her... It's kind of vague whether or not they're actually a couple. I can't really tell if it's supposed to be that they're a couple or if they're just employees. Especially, like, that scene that we're talking about, which he says, like, value in life is not weakness. Like, Syndrome starts, like, coming on to... Like, he seems ready to start kissing Mirage, and then Mirage pushes him back.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of vague, like, what the angle is.
It's especially confusing to me because everything else in this movie is so meticulously well explained just have this one thing that they leave out is a little confusing. But I really like otherwise how good of a job that they do just showing things with the world building and the characters and location and everything. They do a really good job. Especially in the opening act. Like the middle wasn't flawless, but it was a 9.5 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. Yeah. But the opening act of the movie leading up to where Mr. Incredible goes to the island, everything happens for a reason. There is no time that is wasted. Either characters are developing, characters are being introduced, things about the world are being explained, things about the family are being explained. There's no wasted time.
You see personalities.
Yes, there's no way. Even in every other movie, throwaway characters like a teacher wind up being some of the best parts of the movie.
I don't know how he does it. But there's no tack on my stool before he moves, and after he moves, there's a tack. Coincidence? I think not.
That teacher, by the way, voiced by Lou Romano, who would later voice Linguini in Ratatouille.
Oh, wow. I thought he sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that part when he's trying to convince everybody that Dash put the thumbtacks on his seat. The principal is really uncomfortable at the whole thing and tries saying Bernie, and he goes, "Don't Bernie me."
You and your son can go home now.
He's guilty, I tell you. He's like pounding the chair on the ground, screaming guilty. He's jumping around.
I know I mentioned it before, but there are just so many memorable side characters. We might as well, should we bring up Frozone now, or should we get through a lot of the less
We still haven't even talked about the family yet.
The family is a really important part of the movie, and I kind of want to wait to get to them before the rest of the world.
There are a lot of other fun side characters, too. There's Frank and Ollie, the animators at the end that say no school like the old school. There's them.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually researched who they were.
Yes, I did some research this time. I wonder why. Oh my god, I never knew her name. Kari the babysitter?
Yeah.
Oh my god. She was so funny too.
Like her mention of, because she's talking about like Beethoven. It's like everybody knows Mozart makes babies smarter. And it's that was a thing back then, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like
it was.
In the early 2000s, like Baby Einstein and stuff like that, everybody thought that like that was gonna make babies smarter.
Why didn't my parents ever put Mozart on for me when I was a baby?
Because half the time I don't even know what anyone's talking about.
I love at the end of the movie when she's trying to call Helen because Jack's his powers are going off and everything. I love any kind of dialogue, actually spoken, whatever, where a character just becomes more and more panicked as time goes on.
And then never see the panic. Yeah.
And then, the replacement babysitter's here.
And that leads to plot development, and the stakes are like, wait, oh no.
Since we're talking about Syndrome, though, let's bring up Syndrome.
He's probably one of the best Pixar villains of all time.
Yeah, I agree. Really, really nerdy.
Yeah, Jason Lee did a great job with the voice.
Yeah. Nerdy, who has a great personality, vengeful, has a great motivation.
And then you had to just go and ruin the ride. I mean, Mr. Incredible calling for help? Help me, help me. Lame.
During that, I was thinking he should have his own YouTube channel where he just talks about like nerdy comic books.
Hi, I'm Syndrome here, and I'm here to talk to you about nerdy superhero things.
You're really well acted, really funny, very expressive. The way he moved around his hands was really funny. I like that a lot. The scene you were talking about where he's saying lame and all that, his hands, he dropped his hands down and was shaking them around like some kind of wimp.
Really funny.
Yeah, he's a monster. He is just...
Oh, yeah, he's a nerd. He's nerdy and we laugh at him and stuff. Terrible person.
Yeah.
Horrifying.
Like, he's responsible for the death of millions of people. Or, like, not millions, but like 100 people.
Yeah, untold damage to the city. All because he was greedy and he wanted to be someone's sidekick. And he turned him down, and he was just so bitter and angry.
What I love about that scene is when he has that flashback to Mr. Incredible saying, "Fly home, buddy, I work alone." In his memory, there is no bon voyage.
Yeah.
I love how that sort of selective memory where he doesn't remember why Mr. Incredible was so fucking upset with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, because that's not what mattered to him. What mattered to him is that the person he looked up to turned him down for a very valid reason.
Although it wasn't valid in his mind.
No.
Exactly,
no.
yeah.
That's what's so scary. It's that even if, you have a perfectly valid reason for turning someone down, in their mind, they don't understand why, because they're just so obsessed.
When I was watching that, I suddenly had like a YouTube poop moment where he's like,
All I wanted was to help you. I only wanted to help. And what did you say to me?
You are a toy, you can't fly.
Make that a reality.
Well, gotta make YouTube poops now. Time to throw away my education.
Exactly.
I gotta bring up this quote. Well, two quotes, actually. One that's more funny, and one that's like a core motivation for Syndrome. One is I love how they keep referencing being an actor. I love how they keep calling, like, when villains like say their entire plot monologuing.
You got me monologuing.
You slat dog.
I can't believe it.
It's just really fun because, like, you do see Syndrome doing that, and you notice, like,
Yeah. It's like when Frozone and Bob are talking in the car. He's got me, and you know what he does? He starts monologuing. He starts monologuing.
I just love that term a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna butcher the quote, but it's basically somewhere in the film, like, he's explaining his plan. He's like, and then when I get old, I'll give away all my stuff, and then everyone can be supers. And when everybody's super, no one will be.
thing is,
I'll give him this much. He's got a lifelong plan.
taking that plan on its own is spiteful, but it is still for the greater good, because it's like giving these powers to people would do quite a lot of help for society. When you think about it.
Syndrome fucked up.
Well, I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, Syndrome like completely fucked up because he has a gigantic ego. He thought he could best a robot that he literally designed defeat any opponent, including himself, and he didn't think
Yeah.
that through. In fact, he got knocked down like 30 seconds into the robot fight.
Yeah, exactly. One thing went right, and then everything started going wrong.
And then he just got knocked down, and then he's gone for most of the movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or at least most of the fight scene. Then he wakes up and sees the Incredibles and just like, no.
No. That's when he flies to their house to steal their baby.
And just was like, I will get your son. And I'm like, that's creepy.
How did he know that there was... Because until earlier that day, really, he only just found out that they even had children. That he even got busy, as he said.
Got busy.
Well, he could have just waited to be at their house to when they came home and just surprise them. And then seeing the babysitter there, he's like, oh, hello.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
There's no way he doesn't know where Mr. Incredible lives. There's no way he doesn't know.
Oh yeah, that's very true. Yeah. Thing is, like, a lot of this would go into the Pixar short Jack Attack, and I haven't watched that short in quite a while, so I can't really say much about it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either.
Yeah, it would probably be relevant because it is canon. Thing is.
Yeah, yes it is.
But yeah, Syndrome, great villain.
If we're gonna talk about Syndrome, I think we should talk about the way he goes.
Oh, it's set up so beautifully.
Yeah.
And then pays off so well.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it. I think it's more gruesome than Hopper's death. The one thing A Bug's Life had going for it, and it got topped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of all the Pixar deaths, mental scarring by toys, eaten by birds, dolled up to death. What happened to Randall? Getting murdered by
getting beaten by gator haters.
Get the gator.
Finding Nemo had some pretty brutal stuff, but he was conscious. We saw him clawing at the edge to try to escape the blades, but because he had a cape, the cape got sucked in, and then he just yoinks back, and that's it.
Yeah.
We don't even see his remains because it just blows up.
You know what I especially love, and this is kind of jumping this is kind of jumping into another character sort of, but I especially love because he loses Jack because Jack attacked him and he loses it. He goes back into the ship. He says, "I will get your baby. I will get my revenge." And then Mr. Incredible throws the car that Syndrome gifted him for this. He said, and just, it was just like, here's a return motherfucker.
Oh no.
That's a great detail.
Yeah, I really love that.
The moment you've all been waiting for, I guess, if we're talking about Syndrome's cape. Gotta talk about Edna.
Oh
I
my
know,
god.
darling, I know. So hilarious. Voiced by Brad Bird. And
Voiced by Brad Bird.
Voice by Butch is incredible. I love that.
It almost wasn't gonna be voiced by Brad Bird. He was actually their last resort. Can you even believe that? They tried to cast like so many different actresses. Nobody could really bite, and then they were like, "Well, thing is, Brad Bird did a pretty good job anyway, so we're just gonna give it to him." I mean, we already had Andrew Stanton voicing the Crush in the last film, so why not? Make this a thing.
I know, darling. I know.
I love how much of a fast talker she is. Just everything's about her.
I love characters like this, but she's not.
She's not obnoxious because one, she never goes too far overboard, but at the same time, she's like always going overboard and it's hilarious. But more importantly, she's actually good at her job. I'm better than you at everything, darling, kind of character.
I'm better than you at everything, but I will help you, darling, and help you get better.
I used to work for gods.
I love the scene when Helen calls Edna to see if she knows anything about Bob. And she's trying to say that she's Helen, and Edna's like, Helen who? And she says, she mumbles super quietly, Elastigirl.
Darling!
Edna freaks. Helen she jumps, almost drops the phone, has to pick it up.
As I was researching into this, he really wanted Pixar to get back into like the core of animation. Like, I'm not gonna fudge up the names, but what were the name of those two you were talking about?
Frank and Ollie.
Like Frank and Ollie, yeah. There's veterans of animation. Just go back to the simple sort of like stressiness and squishiness and like fast sort of. You can very much tell that he used to work for Warner Brothers because there are a lot of scenes that are reminiscent of like a Looney Tunes bit.
There's a lot of what's the technique called? Stretch and squish or something like that?
Stretch and squash, something like that.
Stretch and squash, yeah.
Stretch and squash, something along those lines. There's a lot of that in this movie, especially when Edna is telling Bob about no capes. There's a lot of that.
Oh my god.
When the superheroes are getting sucked, their capes are killing them. There is a lot of that. So morbid.
It's so brutal.
You see Stretch and Squash and slapstick. It's used for humor. And, I mean, I guess this is also slapstick humor, but they're dying.
Like you were saying, like, she had this sort of holier-than-thou sort of approach. And it also means that, like, it takes a very long time for Helen and Edna to have the same conversation. because it was like like Helen was trying to explain like she doesn't know what he's talking about and said, "You're right, words are useless. Come on. I must show you what I mean." It's like they're still not on the same level, and then once the baby comes in, the little robot baby, that was when Helen was like, "Oh fuck, what did I get myself into?"
When the baby crawls on, and then the first thing is the giant pillar of flames, and then the guns come out and they start shooting at it. One of the features that Edna added to the new superhero outfits was the ability to use a washer machine to wash them.
Machine washable is very good benefits.
That bleeds like Egyptian cotton.
Or when Helen is crying because she finds out that Bob lied to her.
Oh my god, that scene is amazing.
Edna looks so disinterested, but when the tissues start piling up, she has like this roll of newspaper that she uses to just kind of push the tissues away so she doesn't have to touch them.
I love about that it is kind of, I mean, it is a good reason that it's funny, but I've always loved during when she's like, "What are you talking about? You are Elastigirl!" My god. Just that line, just like
She starts smacking her
every time. My god.
So many good side. I'm glad we gave the side characters the attention they deserve because
They really deserve it.
You barely mentioned him, Mr. Huff. aka Rex. Wallace Shawn.
Oh yeah, yes.
He's only in 2 scenes.
I was so into calling him Boss Rex that I forgot his name.
His second scene, when he having the speech with Bob, I love how because it's such a methodical speech, and it's just like he's just saying all these cliches.
A company
is like an enormous clock.
Yes, precisely.
And you can see that that Bob is just like staring at all these like tiny details, like Mr. Huff shifting the paper a tiny bit, or like
the movement of his hands while he's going on this speech,
or like when he's setting up these pencils to line up perfectly with his deck calendar, and then Bob sits down, and one of them like rolls slight bit, and he has to like set it back on the line. Okay.
It's awesome.
It's so good. But let's talk about the heart of the movie now. Use the remainder of the time to talk about them. The family,
Yes.
Frozone by extension. We can start with him if you'd like, but I love Frozone. Best side character. Him or Edna, best side character. I'm leaning towards Frozone, but
Edna wins for me, but Frozone's still great.
it's Samuel L. Jackson. He's just so naturally funny.
Yeah.
You can't run out of ice. I thought you could use the water in the air. There is no water in this air. What's your excuse? Run out of muscle? I can't just go smash it through walls. The building's getting weaker by the second. It's gonna come down on top of it. I wanted to go bowling.
they're in a burning house, and all Frozone's yelling about is how they want to go bowling.
When the cops almost catch them and they run away. No, not when they're running away. When the cops first catch them and they're inside the building. Frozone says, they're gonna think we're the bad guys. Incompetent bad guys.
Yeah.
Of course, there's the classic line, "Honey, where's my
super
suit?"
It's so good. It's that there's even like a vine that's just a guy just reenacting that entire scene.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a highlight of the whole movie.
It really is a high. They showed it in the trailers.
Yeah, I remember. Yes.
Yeah. And it works so damn well. Like there's all this destruction out there.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you need to know?
I've been ready for this dinner for 2 months.
Okay. I think.
Yeah, I think we're ready to talk about the family.
Yeah, let's take it from the top. Let's talk about Bob.
Oh God, what a character. His struggle. It's a struggle. It's very relatable to a midlife crisis almost. In his glory days, he was a superhero and he loved what he did. The one detail that I really like is that he's not just a superhero who does it for the fame and the fortune. You know, there's a police chase going on, and he still takes the time to stop to help an old lady get her cat off a tree. Funny scene, really funny scene.
No, he's quite tame.
Just one of those things that's really nice to see that, you know, yes, he does just love what he does. He loves helping people.
Yeah.
And he gets that taken away from him. And even at his job, a job where you're supposed to not help people pretty much. That's what Boss Rex says. He still is helping people because that's what he does. That's what he loves to do. And when he gets it taken away from him, and he just wants to relive his glory days. He just wants to be able to help people again. And that's a great, deep human struggle.
Yeah, and the system is just not gonna let him.
No, he has that conversation with Rick later, and what it all boils down to is that the more he does stuff like this, the more money of innocent taxpayers is going to be spent trying to fix everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It can't keep happening. The glory days are over.
God bless Bud Lucky, the voice of Rick Dicker. Rest in peace.
Absolutely, I fully agree. Rest in peace.
He really does want to help, but he's just so pissed with Bob.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Bob cares about his family too. He only wants what's best for them. When Rick offers to help relocate, Bob says that they all just settled down. And he can't do that to them. But what I really liked is that Helen says that they had been there for 3 years, so it's not that they just settled down, but Helen had called him the day before, I believe, to say that she finally finished unpacking, and now they're officially moved in. Yeah. And he was at work helping the old lady, and he was just like, oh, that's nice, honey. But he still remembered it. That was the reason why he didn't let them relocate, because everyone had finally settled down, and he didn't want to blow it. He cares about his family, but he also cares about the glory days, about helping other people.
That night before, he and Ellen were having a fight actually because
A big fight, yeah.
a very big fight. And what I really enjoy about this fight is that you could kind of go on either side.
Bob is absolutely right in saying that mediocrity is celebrated, but as soon as someone excels, they get punished for it. But at the same time, Helen is absolutely correct in saying that there's nothing wrong with just wanting to lead a normal life with a family.
Yeah, and
you're so obsessed with your glory days, you're missing out on Dash's graduation.
Yeah,
you're missing out on your family.
That's why I'm kind of leaning on Helen's side because she just what I said. It's not about you. It's about Dash. It's about the family, and he's so like mentally exhausted that he ends up suffering as a father, and he's just not very present.
Exactly.
The dinner that they had.
Oh my god, that was incredible. That whole scene. Oh man.
You can just see like how passive he is, and how much he's just going through the motions.
When he's cutting the steak for Dash, and he just keeps cutting the steak. I got sent to the principal's office. Oh, that's good. He doesn't care. He's so tired.
Yeah. It's just gone to habits at this point.
When he gets the chance to relive his glory days, even though it's a trap, he's happy to do so. And
he starts being with his family again. It's a good thing.
Yeah, because as it turns out, just having a job that doesn't suck makes you feel better.
He starts being more playful with Helen. He starts playing with Dash, being there for Violet. He's even feeding food to Jack. He's involved with his family.
Absolutely. Like
he's happy
because of his new quote job. He has the time for it, but like he's going out each day and just working out at the train tracks and just.
I love when he's working out. He's lifting everything. And then he notices that someone's about to come by, so he just drops it, stands on there, waves, like a normal guy, and then he just goes back to lifting trucks.
It's a good movie.
Oh man, when Bob finds Syndrome's the machine where the password is Kronos and everything, and he logs in and he sees the list of superheroes that have been terminated, just the shock on his face. The first thing that he thinks to do is look for his wife. When he finds out she's safe, huge sigh of relief. Second thing he thinks to do is to look for his best friend. Like, he values other people so much. The last thing he thinks to do is to look for himself.
When at the end of the movie, when he says that he has to do this alone and Helen's yelling at him, he just says, I can't lose you again. I'm not strong enough. He is a very consistent character throughout the whole movie. It doesn't so much feel like an evolution as much as it does an extension of what we already had. When he says that, and it's everything coming together because everything in the movie comes together.
It's really good.
I love how they're having this argument, and on Helen's side, she's trying to understand what Bob is trying to do here, and on Bob's side, he's trying to express himself, and he's just I'm not strong enough. What is this, a workout to you? And it's like,
is it just a game?
Yeah, it just again, and it was like he was trying so hard to say it, and then it just all came out. I can't lose you again, and it's crushing. Like when he hears the news that his family got shot down in the plane, you hear him sob in the background.
Yes. You can hear listening to him sob by looking at him just lower his arms and give up. He gives up. And not just involving Bob, involving the others too.
Oh gosh, Helen.
Helen, oh my god, what a good character. I loved her.
A great character.
I loved Helen.
I love how much of a no-nonsense kind of character that Helen is. When Dash is telling her, I want to compete, I want to be in sports, and she says, well, you're a very competitive boy, and you're show-offy. She just doesn't hold back. She's just like, can't compete. You're show-offy. You say you're going to get second, but I know you.
It's a really funny scene is when Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl are on the roof after she knocked out the criminal, the thief, the crook, whatever. And they're arguing about who's going to get the credit for it. And the guy slowly gets up and is like, look, dude, the lady got me first. Then she just knocks him out again.
Yeah.
Like, they know it. They're just playful bantering. And she's like, listen,
He's
come
just
on.
like, she got me first, dude.
When her and the kids are going through the island, she's experienced, she's collected, her kids are freaking out, and she's like, listen, this is what we're gonna do. These are the ground rules here. This is what you have to realize. These are not the bad guys you see on TV. They will shoot you at the first sight.
It hits hard in a way no Pixar movie really has before either. Because it's never like flat out said, look,
Yes.
they will not hesitate to kill you.
They won't exercise restraint just because you're children. They will kill you. That is the quote.
Like, there's no nonsense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the example I brought up before at the no nonsense was really funny, but in the non-comedic moments, she's the same character. It's just it's not funny this time. It's real.
Yeah.
This is real danger my children are in. I need to make sure they know this.
It's like when you see her as her younger self, like she's just like settle down. Why would I settle down? I'm on the top of my game. Come on. And then like 15 years later, like they just kind of like Bob and Ellen actually kind of swap. And now Helen's the one that's like, those times happened, and I'm glad they happened, but this is happening now, and I'm glad that I'm here. I'm glad that I have the family that I have. I'm glad to have the husband that I have. And I just want to keep that.
I thought it was going to be so stupid when she found out, or when she started suspecting Bob of not actually going to work. When she thought something was up, I'm thinking, here we go, the misunderstanding, blah, blah, blah. And then Bob is about to leave. She goes to him, borderline tears. She says, Bob, he's turning around looking outside, like, yeah, whatever. She says, I love you so much. Just, like, almost ready to cry. Like, she cares. She doesn't want to lose him. And it's just like, God damn.
Yeah.
This works.
And it also ties into how I was saying before that Bob really cares about his family.
When she thinks that he's cheating on her, that's not even on his mind. He's not even thinking about that. He's just so happy to see his family again.
They one of the deleted scenes was that Helen was actually going to flat out say the question, "Are you having an affair with me?" They were actually going to go that far.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It really goes to show you the Brad Bird's approach of just trying. Let's do something.
Yeah,
let's
exactly.
Really
Yeah.
The scene on the jet, when they were on the jet, the pilot was originally going to be with them. And in the
That's
deleted
right.
scene, the pilot died.
I believe Helen was actually going to swim because when the plane crashes into the water, Helen was actually going to swim down to try to rescue the pilot, and then you see his corpse. I believe they were actually going to go that far, but I might be wrong.
This movie very easily could have been PG-13.
Oh yeah, it could have been.
Yeah,
It
that's
could have
true.
been
That's
really
true.
dark.
They probably had to cut a lot just to try to keep it within rating, because I believe this was the first time with a PG film.
Yeah, they got a lot done with the PG rating.
Along with Bob and Helen being great. I think. What do you think of the children? I think the children are like.
Yeah, they're great too. They're great. I love them.
Violet's tries to be the older sibling, but very insecure.
Yeah.
And just a teen.
Of the family, I think she's actually the one that evolved as a character. She's the one who started as shy and timid, and by the end of the movie was confident in herself. She had more confidence. The guy that she was so afraid to talk to, she couldn't even keep eye contact with him. By the end of the movie, she was in control of that whole conversation.
I especially love how her hair becomes a visual extension of her growth.
Yes, exactly.
When she starts out, she really looks like that monster from The Ring. Like she's just like hiding inside this curtain of hair.
Yes, for the majority of the movie.
And as it goes along, and especially when Helen has a heart-to-heart with her, she's saying, like, I'm sorry, I really shouldn't have put that much pressure on you. And she's just like, don't panic and don't worry. You'll know what to do when the time is right. And she combs her hair behind her ear, and that becomes her growth. Like, from that point on, she becomes a better person.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not just at the end of the movie when she fully puts her hair back. It's something as simple as combing her hair over. That visually is a metaphor for her growth.
She eventually pulls it all the way back on the limo drive back, and she's now confidence. He sees who she needed to be.
Exactly.
And that's wonderful. And of course,
Yeah.
Dash has his own sort of arc.
Yeah, he grew. He not quite to the extreme that Violet did, but he went through a lot too.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Helen was right in a way that he is very cocky. But
Yeah.
what his problem was is that he really needed an outlet, and he just didn't have that, and so he just took it out on his teachers.
Yeah, exactly. But if we are going to talk about his growth, we have to talk about one of the funniest parts of the movie at the very end when he's in the race.
No, yes,
they're
yes, go,
screaming,
keep
and
going.
They're screaming at him to get second, and the more and more that they cheer, the more and more the person next to them is just looking at them really uncomfortably.
No, don't give up.
and as they're like celebrating and they're walking back to the parking lot, Dash is like, I was trying to figure out what you guys were saying.
Yeah.
I know what you were. I know what I would. What you wanted from me.
He gets second place, and they're all saying, "We're so proud of you."
What was I gonna? And it's funny in that one shot, you like see a bunch of kids, and there's like one kid just laying on the floor, like dead.
We can, since there's a fair amount of time left. I know I really liked it. I know Wash really liked it. I'm hoping Random liked it. The music.
Oh yes, the music is great. The music is wonderful.
Oh my gosh, I have so many notes about the music. I have so many notes about the music.
The reason I'm being quiet is because I.
So the score this time was done by Michael Giacchino, this is the first time that Pixar has done a film scored by someone who's not in the Newman family. Finally.
About time.
And I found out, I didn't even know this, but I looked up an interview with Michael Giacchino at the time. This was his feature debut.
This is his first composition?
This is his
For a
first
movie?
time. This is before this. He was working on video games. He was working for television. He did the first Call of Duty. He did the Alias television series. He did Small Soldiers, the video game. He was just working on a bunch of different stuff, and for a while he thought like I'm going to be stuck making video game soundtracks, and then I'm going to be stuck making television soundtracks, and then Brad Bird gave him a call. The score was originally going to be done by John Barry. John Barry was the composer of the first James Bond movie, and that would have fit
really well.
They wanted him to do the same sort of stuff that he did, but because that was decades ago and he's already like evolved as a composer, he couldn't really do that stuff anymore. And so they grabbed this. I mean, he's not a newbie because he's definitely had a lot of experience by now, but just like this fresh first guy. And folks at Disney were saying like, but he's just a television guy. And Brad, I'm quoting Michael Giacchino, Brad would say, so what? I was a television guy.
Oh,
and it's because Brad Bird knows that television, it can be a boot camp for film. Michael Giacchino and Brad Bird have this bonding where they start talking about their favorite sorts of scores and what they want to work with. They want to make music that sounds like James Bond, that sounds like Johnny Quest, and they Pink Panther especially.
Ooh.
And more than that, they didn't want this to sound like a parody of those. They wanted them to sound like their own grand thing, and it knocks it out of the park. It is gorgeous music.
I love it. It's such good music.
It's so good. I feel bad that I have to go soon because I want to talk about this more, but I have to go.
Okay. So I
literally, I'm being summoned to like go somewhere. Yeah, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I promise.
Okay, so I guess we can. Okay, so
do you have anything to add before we finish up?
I think Incredibles is amazing. It's wonderful, and I just really, really enjoy it. And I wish I wasn't in a rush to like do this, but it's really one of Pixar's greatest accomplishments. And I'm so set, and yeah, I honestly really enjoy it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. I'm in a rush. And
I understand.
I think I may have to leave it now, so you guys can talk about it on your own. But I gotta go now. I'm sorry.
Okay. We'll get to this real quick. Random. Where did you put this in your ranking? Your ranking so far is Finding Nemo, then Toy Story, then Monsters Inc., then Toy Story 2, then A Bug's Life.
It's under Toy Story.
under Toy
No
Story.
question.
Why do you say
Yeah.
that?
Because Toy Story is just, I like the story a bit more.
Okay.
And nostalgia. All right.
Timer just
I'm
went
s-
off. That's
Yes,
a good timing. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
All right. I'm sorry. It's a 2-person one for now. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, now he disconnected. Well, I guess it's just the two of us for the rest of this.
I was gonna announce that I had actually changed my ranking.
And then he ran away.
And then he ran away. But I guess you're the one that's gonna receive this, and he's gonna hear about this later on.
I guess so. I guess so.
I think I already know what your ranking is gonna be with this.
Yeah, I'll just get this out of the way because it's pretty obvious. I love the movie so much. So much. Everything. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. It's amazing. I love it. Great. Fantastic. Just every positive thing I could think to say about it, I'll say about it. It's innovative. It's funny. It's charming. It's heartfelt. It's expressive. It's so good. So good. Needless to say, Finding Nemo had its time in the sun. I really didn't think it was going to top Toy Story, and then it did. But it's done. Monsters. The Incredibles.
Well, this was a shocking of a reckon. You've actually changed your mind and put
Incredibles.
You know, thing is, we have it on tape, so you can't take it back.
Incredibles is only above A Bug's Life. I can't in good conscience say it's below that movie, even as a joke. But to the surprise of absolutely nobody, I never won this one.
Okay. Like I said, I changed my ranking on this. I was especially like going back to the tapes, and my ranking previously was Buzz Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, and Toy Story.
Yes.
And now I decided to swap it up. So from the bottom up is A Buzz Life, then Toy Story 2, then Toy Story, then Monsters Inc., then Finding Nemo.
Wow. Oh, you submitted to peer pressure and put Finding Nemo on top.
I submitted to peer pressure, and I started to realize Monsters Inc. had higher highs than Toy Story. Like, Toy Story is like solid, but honestly, I had so much more fun with Monsters Inc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially like going back into this.
Mm-hmm.
As for my ranking,
Go bottom up again. I want to keep the suspense relatively high. Also, I want to hear A Bug's Life on the bottom again.
Okay, so is this better than A Bug's Life? Yes. We keep making fun of A Bug's Life. I know you.
No. I'm not. I'm in this hole myself. I'm making fun of A Bug's Life. You and Random are fine. I'm making fun of A Bug's Life.
Bug's Life isn't awful. It's just that it's gonna take a while for us to get that blowing. There's still a lot of great, good stuff about A Bug's Life that I've grown to appreciate, but it suffers a lot from being very mediocre. Is it better than Toy Story 2? Yes, I feel that although Toy Story 2 is very good, it's, as I said in the previous episode, it's less than the sum of its parts. It doesn't work well as a cohesive film. There's a lot of really great elements to it, but I don't feel like that they collaborate well. Is this better than Toy Story?
Ooh, this is where things get interesting.
Yes. I think this is better than Toy Story. I want to make like a Mario reference because like Toy Story is in a lot of ways the Super Mario Brothers of Pixar.
Yes.
Because obviously it's the first, but also it's solid. It's a very solid film. There's nothing wasted in it. And Incredibles is that, but even better. Because it's massive. You really get a sense of its scale. You really get a sense of they quadrupled in the number of locations, and you can feel it. If it really starts to feel like a huge world and all the characters work wonderfully, and the jokes are great, and the drama is fantastic. Like honestly, the drama in The Incredibles is a lot better than I was really expecting.
Yeah.
Is this better than Monsters Inc.?
Uh-oh, here it comes.
Yes.
What? What? Plot twist if I ever saw one. I was not expecting this, even though you've told me that this is your opinion multiple times in the past.
Explain.
Yes.
I want to hear this. I want to hear this.
It comes down to a couple things. Randall is very weak.
That's always gonna plague Monsters Inc. Yeah.
Yeah, that's always gonna plague Monsters Inc. for me. And some of the side characters are fairly weak. And I'm thinking of things like Celia and just like just monsters that's kind of just kind of show up in the back, and like they're occasionally acknowledged, but they don't feel like living, breathing people or monsters in this case.
Compared to The Incredibles, where
like a teacher that shows up for 2 minutes has so much to him just by how he expresses himself, how he talks to the principal of the school he works for. They just had so much fun with all these different characters, and I also feel that this has a stronger plot because they're both kind of similar in that they're both about conspiracies. The Incredibles works with that a lot better, especially because the world of supers and how normal people react to supers adds a lot to the sort of environment, the tensions that you feel. Gosh, it really just does such a good job with that.
Yeah.
And finally. Is this better?
Here we go.
Than...
It's been fun, Incredibles fans, but here we go. Incredibles or Finding Nemo?
I think this is better than Finding Nemo.
Let's go.
You're so excited about this.
Oh my god, I am. I love this movie, dude. Oh man.
I really love this movie. It just gets better every time I watch it. Oh yes. Okay. All right. I'm sure it was a super close call for you, so if you just want to real quick go over why you think that, then we can wrap it up.
I think it's like they're both very similar in that they're both like incredibly strong story, great, like a huge sort of scale and world. Incredibles knocks it out of the park with characters. Finding Nemo, I don't like the fish tank. I find them mostly They had a couple jokes, but they felt too much like one track characters. They don't feel like lived people or fish in this case. Yeah. So I'm putting this at the top. So Incredibles, Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc., Toy Story, Toy Story 2, A Bug's Life. Now I'm gonna, and now this is the part where I'm gonna actually calculate this real quick. And we're back. So I just gone through the calculations here, averaging out all of our lists because we all have our own distinct list. And so going from the averages, from the bottom, we have A Bug's Life at 48 points.
Oh, let's go.
Followed by Toy Story 2 at 51 points. Then Monsters Incorporated at 55 points, Toy Story at 57 points, Finding Nemo at 61 points, and The Incredibles at 61 points. We have a tie for number one. God.
Between Incredibles and Finding Nemo.
Between Incredibles and Finding Nemo.
Oh, that's great.
So now we have some excitement here.
Yeah. And it's not going to get resolved next time.
That's spoilers. Oh man. Okay. So
I am gonna have such a hard job next episode.
Oh my god, that's right. You're gonna be the one defending this.
Yep.
You're gonna be the random of this whole thing.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. Well, we were talking about Bug's life. I'm gonna be in his shoes. It's all gonna come spiraling back.
But that's for the next episode.
That's for the next episode where we'll be talking about cars.
Yeah, about cars. But until next time, this feels like a completely different show now.
Yeah, honestly.
Until next time, I've been The Wash.
I'm Random Bystander here.
And I'm KirbyFan.
And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.